before I came to Australia, I'd worked in California in San Diego. And I just happened to work in a lab of Sandra Schmidt, who's one of the most senior women scientists in the United States. And she discovered the function of a molecule called dynamin. And if you inhibit dynamin, then all the receptors get stuck on the surface of the cells. So we thought, okay, if we inhibit dynamin in the patients, then instead of predicting who's a responder, we could change the non-responders into responders and have more responders. And so I had a business manager down in Sydney from our collaborators helping me in the middle of the night while his kids were asleep for free, helping me to put these slides together. And he said, Fiona, I don't know if you've ever seen this, because Adam and Phil actually developed dynamin inhibitors and are trying to do it for clinical use. And he sent me a slide that said, prochlorperazine as an off-target effect is a dynamin inhibitor and it's in clinic. And I thought, why can't we just use that? So we went from, you know, nearly giving up and thinking it was all just too hard to going again. So right now, my clinical colleagues like Ben Panizza, Kate Cuff, Ewan Walpole, they're all helping to analyse the data from the safety trial. But one of the thoughts is that for now, we'll actually apply to get extra patients at that top dose to get some extra safety data, but also continue to be able to give the patients treatment options while everything's complicated. And since the publication of the Cell paper, we've been in contact with a few people like Elgene Lim. He's a really fantastic consultant clinician down in Sydney at the Garvan Institute. And right now we're all writing grant applications together to try and get a breast cancer trial going with Herceptin in HER2 positive breast cancer. Do use very high concentrations. So Stemetil is a travel sickness drug you take in tablets from the chemist. We give it such a high concentration to get the receptors to move, because this is a side effect of the drug we're using, that we actually give the patients IV dosage over 20 minutes. Okay. So you'd have to swallow nearly like 50 to 100 travel sickness tablets to get this effect. And for patients, it made them really drowsy. A lot of them had a nap at the peak concentrations of Stemetil. I mean, it slows down things like synaptic vesicle recycling. Yeah. Get my son up for high school. He's 13, and get them fed and get them to school and do all the mummy things. And then I head into the lab. I talk with all the people who need to talk to me. I answer all the emails. I can be writing grants, doing trials, teaching, writing ethics, responding to ethics, running across the hospital to collect patient samples, setting up experiments, looking at the data that my lab have produced, writing papers, reviewing papers for journals, reviewing grants and grant panels for other people, writing grants.
So you don't just sit in a lab coat in front of a microscope all day?
No, we just, for a group leader, we walk in, we run through a bunch of work, and then about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I sort out kids, I do the house, I walk the dog, I make the dinner. And then after everybody's asleep about 9 o'clock, I open my computer up and I start again, and I go till usually after midnight, and then I start again at 6 in the morning. That's my day. Every day I get up and I'm keen to go to work. I love working in my lab. They're all really young, bright, smart people. It's a building of 65 nationalities and languages, and everybody, no matter what religion or color or background, works together and with one goal, which is to improve human health. Yeah. And to work in that kind of a team every day, we learn new things every day. You are never, ever bored. And for me, I think the main thing, because there's no point in hiding the fact that this is a stressful job. I remember coming home one night and lying on my son's bed when he was small, And I was just in tears, and I'd gone through, and I said, I can't do this anymore. What about if I just give up? Would you like me just to be at home and be your mummy? And he was actually really little, and he was stroking my hair, and he said, I don't think that's good, mummy. And I thought, that's not the answer I expected. And I said, why? And he said, well, mummy, what would the patients do if you stopped? And I thought, oh my God. And I got up and I kept going. And so in the end, that's our primary drive, is that we've been trained to do this. It's not to give medicine, it's to find new ways of doing medicine when medicine isn't working for the patients. I think that's never been clearer than now with the coronavirus.